The Greek gods had children just like you and me, except their kids were demigods with superpowers. They would get up to all kinds of mischief when they weren't off to war, which was pretty often. So today, we're going to meet three of the most powerful Olympians, the children of Zeus. Number 1, Athena. Athena was the goddess of wisdom, courage, inspiration, civilization, law, and justice. Not only was she the patron deity of Athens, one of the most powerful cities in Greece, but her wisdom was also renowned throughout the whole world. In fact, when it comes to intelligence, she was considered to be the smartest of all the Olympians. But how did she come to be? Well, according to Homeric hymn number 8, Athena was actually the first child of Zeus and Metis, the Titaness who personified wisdom. However, after she gave birth to Athena, Zeus swallowed her whole because he had a vision that her next child would overthrow him. And so, to prevent that from happening, he kept her trapped inside his stomach for 5 years. During this time, Athena grew up inside of Zeus, learning all of his wisdom and battle tactics. Eventually, though, she grew too big for him to keep secret, so he needed to find a way to get her out. So he called upon the help of his son, Apollo, who created a terrible headache for his father. Then, to relieve his pain, he went to Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths, who gave him a silver headband to wear. Once Zeus put it on, Athena sprang out of his head fully grown and armed, wearing a long chiton and holding a shield and a spear. So that is where Athena got her super brain power. But what about these two? Number 2, Apollo. Apollo was the god of music, arts, knowledge, healing, light, the sun, prophecy, and archery. He was also the deity of the silver bow, which he used to defend the flocks of his father's enemies, the Titans. And although he was just a young god, he was extremely arrogant, believing himself to be better than all of the others. This attitude came from his mother, Leto, who was so proud of Apollo that she boasted to the other Olympians that her son was more talented than theirs. This enraged Hera, the goddess of women, who then made a prophecy that Apollo and his twin sister Artemis would never have any children. Now, you might think that this curse was pretty unfair since it wasn't Apollo who boasted, but instead his mom. But the thing was, Leto was already a Titaness before she became a goddess, and she knew that children were a danger to the gods because the older they got, the stronger they became, eventually overthrowing their parents. So Leto didn't want any kids either, which was why she was so smug when Hera cursed her. And finally, number 3, Ares. Ares was the god of courage, strength, violence, bloodshed, anger, and bravery. He was also the deity of war, but only its physical aspects, not the strategy or the glory of it. And he was universally hated by the other gods because he was incredibly cruel, sadistic, and bloodthirsty. He took great pleasure in inflicting pain and suffering on mortals, causing them to go insane with rage, impel them to fight each other, and even whispering evil suggestions into people's ears. He was everything that his father, Zeus, was not, which is probably why Zeus hated him the most. In fact, he was so ashamed of Ares that he never even mentioned him by name, and instead referred to him as my son, the god of bloodshed. So maybe being an Olympian wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. Now, if you want to hear the story of another set of godly siblings, then I suggest you check out the video about the children of Poseidon, the god of the sea. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.